We do have one presentation today, and that is a proclamation in memory of Bruce Lohmiller. I'm going to read the proclamation into the record and we'll vote on it. Before we present it to Wendy Hoffman, we will open it up for public comment. Day to celebrate Bruce Lohmiller, February 8th, 2024. Whereas Bruce Lohmiller was born on February 8th, 1954, and whereas Bruce Lohmiller passed away on October 9th, 2023, and whereas Bruce Lohmiller served in the United States Army from 1973 to 1976, and whereas Bruce Lohmiller earned a psychology Bachelor of Arts degree in social and behavioral sciences in May of 1986 from Mesa State College, and whereas Bruce Lohmiller was an active member of the community and attended many Mesa County public hearings and meetings, and whereas Bruce Lohmiller was a write-in candidate over the years for Mesa County Sheriff, U.S. House District 3, and the President of the United States of America, and whereas Bruce Lohmiller's commitment to art and veterans was unwavering, and whereas Bruce Lohmiller provided authentic and compassionate leadership for the Veterans Arts Center, and whereas Bruce Lohmiller provided a cheerful and joyous sense of being, his mantra was sanity and honesty on earth. And whereas Bruce Lohmiller will be missed, therefore be it resolved that the Mesa County Board of Commissioners hereby proclaims February 8th as Bruce Lohmiller Day in Mesa County. In witness whereof, we hereunto set our hands and cause to be affixed the official seal of Mesa County this 7th day of November, 2023. Mesa County Board of Commissioners, Janet Rowland, Bobby Daniel, and Cody Davis. I'll entertain a motion to approve the proclamation as entered into the record.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Did you have either of you have comments?
Yeah, I'll just say he was a bright spot in our day. Sometimes he disagreed with us. Sometimes he agreed with us. He called me commissioner person, and he was just such a bright spot. I mean, and he was so engaged. I mean, he was probably one of the most engaged citizens in Mesa County, whether it was school district, city, Grand Junction, or Mesa County. And it was just a joy to get to know him and celebrate his life.
Commissioner Daniel.
Yeah. I didn't know Bruce very well. I was sworn in January, but the time that I did get to spend with him was full of laughter, full of surprises. If we all had the passion Bruce had, this world would truly be a better place. He always had something funny to say, and oftentimes he was really correct. And he had a lot of wisdom and a lot of meaning in what he shared. And so I just kudos to Bruce. He lived a really wonderful life and he changed a lot of people. And he really was the change that we want to see and the change he thought he wanted to bring to this world. And he did so in a really meaningful way. And he will be missed. I would always come down a little early. Sometimes I wouldn't. But Bruce would always be there to greet me. And it was the day that he wasn't there to greet me was really sad. So we will miss him dearly.
Yes, I agree with both of you. Commissioner McInnes and I had the opportunity to attend his service at his church on Sunday. And to listen to the pastor and the other people speak, it was like they were in this room when it all happened. He sat in the second row in the church and talked out loud during service. And one of the best comments of all was the pastor said when he first came to the church, Bruce came up to him and said, is it true you have a master's degree in political science? And he said, yes, I got that before I went into the ministry. He said, I have a master's degree in hassling political officials. And he certainly, I think he had a doctorate in that. He was quite good at that.
Well, yeah, thank you very much for allowing the public to speak, because he had a lot of representation for the public, or as he perceived the public. And, you know, if he were here today, this would be one of the highlights. He would march around town with that resolution. And as you know, he lives close to where I live, in fact, a block away, which the first time I met Bruce, by the way, it wasn't exactly love at first sight. But over time, I got to really become good friends with him, but I didn't know he was going to live a block away. So when he first told me this is where he just moved, he said, "Where do you live?" I said, "Oh, a long ways away. It's a long walk for you." It's literally a block and a half, but I'd see him almost every night. So I walked by. In fact, to the night or the night before he passed. And I'll be darned, he's out there in his chair smoking cigarettes. My last words to Bruce were, "Bruce, get rid of those cigarettes. I'm warning you." Kind of like I had no idea he was that sick, obviously.
Yeah.
he just laughed. And his truck is still there. They haven't moved his truck yet, and it's still got Bruce for president taped to the back of it. So maybe he was going to run again this next time. But you know, the uniqueness, as all three of you have mentioned, is he respected the commission. He respected people, and we all respected him. And what was really interesting was, as we've experienced, and Bobby, you saw some of it, Commissioner, I'm sorry, you saw some of it, but we had some very angry groups in here for different reasons. And we'd be in the middle, somebody would be very upset at the microphone, the crowd would be upset, and all of a sudden the door would swing open. Here comes Bruce talking to himself. And he'd go over and sit down, and everybody would look at him. And it would kind of break the tension. He really had a way of breaking the tension. Sometimes, as you know, Cody, when you were chair, and Janet, certainly when you were chair, he'd get up to speak on something that had nothing to do with what he wanted to speak about. He'd come up here and start speaking, and we'd say, "You two are artists, that Bruce. That's not the subject we're discussing." Oh, and he had that little glee about him. So we'd say, "Oh," and give that little squeaky glee. And he'd go back down, sit down, keep on talking. And I do want to point out that during different times in the hearings, he'd start mumbling. And I'll tell you, between Renee and especially when we were in here, Stephanie, you were his buddy. You were so kind to him. We all walk a different path. But you were able to put your hand on his hand and he'd quiet down. And I do remember one time when there was a crowd, probably a little smaller than what we have here today, and he started mumbling. And somebody who didn't know him told him to be quiet out loud. And everybody in the room just glared at the guy. Built about that. You're out of place. Bruce is ours. You can leave if you want, or that's not what was said. But at any rate, we all have a lot of respect for him. We'll miss him. And in my career, all of us have had an opportunity to meet a lot of people, but sometimes it's the one that walks the really different path that you remember the most. And so I want to thank all of you. You feel the same way I do, but I think it's really neat that you did this for him. So thank you. I miss you.
Commissioner McInnes, we miss you too.
I am the president and CEO down at the Veterans Art Center. Bruce was our very first artist that we had that actually got into making art at the art center, because he said, "Okay, well, you set this up for veterans to do art, so I'm going to go do art." And he was Bruce, and he was very unique, and he wanted to play the guitar all the time, so he would come in there, and it didn't matter if anybody was there or not. He said, "I'm going to play for 20 minutes and entertain everybody," and it's like, there's nobody here. Well, that's okay. And so, this was Bruce, and he was about as annoying as a mosquito sometimes, and very pleasant other times. But on that note, he's very much missed, because it's like, well, I think my son likened it to when your tinnitus disappears. It's like something's wrong. And we just have so many, he was there almost every morning. There was no bringing him down. I mean, it was to do, and that was it. And everything was excitement. So we're really going to miss him down there, because he's, I don't know what I'm going to do, not getting all my minutes and everything and agendas from all the meetings that he would pile on my desk and tell me he asked for money, or he did this, or he did that. And I'd get the report every morning after he went to any meeting anywhere. And then he would email me just to make sure that I got the report that he left on my desk. And so, yeah, he's going to be missed.